Hi, and welcome back to AWS Julie. Today we're continuing our new series covering network fundamentals in AWS, and we're still diving into designing our Amazon VPC, and we're going to talk about routing and the internet gateway. Please remember to share this video with anyone who may be interested. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, sub if you love it, and let's dive in. So in this lesson, we're stepping through the architecture and functionality of route tables, route associations, and the internet gateway, along with public IP version 4 functionality within a VPC, and this is going to cover a high-level overview of routing in AWS. So let's first talk about what is a VPC router. Well, every VPC has a VPC router, and it is highly available and simply moves traffic from somewhere to somewhere else. And it runs in all of the availability zones that your VPC uses. And the router has a network interface in each subnet inside your VPC, and it uses the network plus one address that we discussed in our last lesson. And you don't need to worry about this router. It works and it's managed by AWS, and it routes traffic between the subnets in your VPC. And we can control this router a little bit by creating our own route tables and associate the route tables with the subnet, and then add rules to allow traffic in and out of your subnets. Each VPC has a main route table associated with your subnets, so if you don't explicitly associate a new route table with your subnets, then the VPC will use this default main route table, and a subnet can only have one route table associated with it at a time, but you can use one route table for many different subnets in your VPC. Route tables can have rules for one specific IP address. It could be a default route, so 0.0.0.0, to allow any traffic. And notice in this route table that the target is local, so it's the internet gateway, and it allows all services to communicate from the internet inside your VPC. And local routes are here too, and these local routes cannot be deleted, and they always take priority over other routes, and they allow that private communication inside your VPC. Route tables are created at the VPC level, but they are associated with a subnet, which is in one availability zone. Let's also talk about the Internet Gateway. And the Internet Gateway is a regional resilient service, so it is also highly available. The Internet Gateway sits at the edge of our VPC in the AWS public zone and the Internet, and it manages traffic between our VPC, the AWS public zone, and the Internet. And the reason we only have one public route table is that the Internet Gateway is per VPC. So one internet gateway works across all availability zones. If you create a new internet gateway, you must attach it to the VPC. It is not automatically attached. Then we also need to create a route to our route table to allow traffic to and from the new internet gateway. And if we add an internet gateway to a subnet, then that subnet becomes a public subnet because it now has access to the AWS public zone, and also it's open to the internet. The Internet Gateway does this by performing a type of NAT called static NAT. But how it works is that the Internet Gateway allocates a resource within a public IP version 4 IP address. So when that data or packets leave that resource and pass through the Internet Gateway, the Internet Gateway switches the source IP address from the private IP address to the public IP address and sends that packet on. And then when that packet returns, it switches the destination IP address from the public IP address back to the private IP address. And that's all I want to cover for routing and the Internet Gateway. We are going to be taking deeper dives as we continue on in this series. And in the next video, we're going to dive a little bit more into how we add security to the route tables and the routes by using NACLs, Network Access Control Lists. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope to see y'all again real soon.